Yes, guys, few interesting questions which are important. So what is in page 325 you have incineration, biomethanation, pyrolysis and gasification, right? So incineration means the sewage will be burnt completely. By using oxygen, you just burn it. Biomethanation is you put all these, add compost, add some organisms which will decompose it, methane will emit, and that methane is actually used for energy production, right? Pyrolysis, in general terms I'm saying, pyrolysis means under high pressure, when you are actually putting these sewage without oxygen, now you have plastic and all. So under high pressure, when you actually make them to go, then usually you get oil and petrol back. So from what it came, you can actually get that back, trash or garbage. And then you have gasification, where through partial burning of this, some fumes like CHO, CO, all these gets emitted. We can actually burn them and again energy is being produced. I'll give you proper definitions and questions which can come, but I felt it is not required in detail. So I just gave that these four information is enough. I'll give you exactly the definitions and if possible, if there is any question expected. Thank you. Thanks for asking. So next, let's move to environment chapter. Please open page 327. You have environmental conservation. So in this, you have two. Under the biodiversity conservation scheme, there are two main subcomponents, that is your biodiversity and biosafety. Biodiversity, different species are actually present. What is biosafety? When you are handling these species, you should be careful that it does not cause any disease or it will not create any trouble. So in environmental conservation, usually you read or you come across conventions which deal with protection of biodiversity, that is, you try to ensure the different species live in harmony and there is no problem for these species. And biosafety, where you are protecting these species, and also when you are transferring the species from one country to another country, you try to ensure that diseases are not spread. So these two are usually studied in detail. The biodiversity component includes activities related to Convention on Biological Diversity. We'll be seeing more about it. And support to National Biodiversity Authority that is being established. The biosafety component, see, you have to, the biodiversity is related to Convention on Biological Diversity and the National Biodiversity Authority. The other hand, you have biosafety component, which is actually taken care under Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. Last year question was asked, it works under what? And Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety or Nagoya Kuala Lumpur Supplementary Protocol on Liability and Redress. So they may ask you, biosafety is associated with which protocols? Why it is important? in environment and ecology, you will not get much from mains. I'll be telling from mains what is important, but all these lines are crucial from prelims. So please know these. Don't go into technical details. Please don't do research on this. It is not required, because some questions which you ask is too much technical, which is not required from UPSC. That is the reason why we say which lines are important, so that you don't waste your time in reading the stuff which is not required for you. Next, as I told you, you have biodiversity conservation, and we'll be seeing biosafety conservation as well. So when we are talking about biodiversity conservation, we are talking about Convention on Biological Diversity, which actually took place in 2000. The main objective of Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety was to ensure there is safe transfer, handling and use of living modified organisms resulting from modern biotechnology. With biotechnology improving day by day, from one country to another country, when species are being transferred, when you are actually having business on the basis of genetically modified crops and all, at that point of time, for safety purposes, the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety under Convention on Biological Diversity was done, and this actually talks about safe transfer, handling and use of living modified organisms. So this statement can be picked directly from the book, and that can be asked in prelims. So this line and statement is important. Thereafter, you have Nagoya Protocol on access and benefit sharing, right? Again, this is associated with the access CBD. In the same paragraph, can you see ratification of Nagoya Protocol by 51 parties to the CBD is also a major step towards achieving the first of the global Aichi biodiversity targets, target 16, that by 2015, and Nagoya Protocol is in force and operational. So the question can be, Nagoya Protocol, under which on access and benefit sharing you are looking at, is aimed at achieving which of the Aichi biodiversity targets? So if UPSC change it, you will think, what is the Aichi biodiversity targets? I don't know. And you will also get confused regarding what is the Nagoya Protocol actually looking at. Can you see? Completely factual. And if asked, it is very difficult for us to answer. So I'll tell you what are these Aichi biodiversity targets. So to conserve biodiversity, the international community has come together and they have 5 goals. The first goal is to address the problems which are associated with biodiversity loss by mainstreaming biodiversity across government and societies. That is, you will be using civil society also, you will be using government, and you will reduce the biodiversity losses. Then reduce the direct pressures on biodiversity and promote sustainable use. Factual data. Strategic goal C, to improve the status of biodiversity by safeguarding ecosystem species and genetic diversity. Fourth, enhance the benefits to all from biodiversity and ecosystem services. Fifth is this. Every goal is further divided into 4 targets. So I have given this, it may come in mains also, you can keep this completely factual. It is related to how to protect the forests where biodiversity is very rich. How to ensure that the different species we have, something like Western Ghats, Northeast and all, how do we protect it? So for that, don't get into the details. It is not required. The 16th one which we saw is important. Targets, specific targets will not be asked. So please be careful. Can you see here? Target 16. By 2015, the Nagoya Protocol on Access to Genetic Resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization is in force and operational, consistent with national legislation. Can you see this? So this itself can be a question. So what exactly is the meaning of fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization? What utilization? What are we actually using? For that, say for example, in India, you have a crop, right, which actually grows in desert, but takes, right, less water. So you can actually compare a situation of desert, and this crop is not seen anywhere. You can actually focus on more crop, less drop concept. More crop per drop, less drop, sorry, more crop per drop. That is, per drop of water, more crops needs to be raised. So when things of this sort comes up, so they will identify the places and the crops which are capable of growing in this. So now they will actually take this. They means the governments can take, or the international community can ask for these permissions. Once they get it, then they may actually replicate at the industrial level. As you had this high yielding variety seeds, HYV seeds, which we used in our green revolution, these crops may be used across the world. And the industry or the company which is actually going and growing this will actually get more money. But if you see, this should actually go to the farmer who is growing in the desert. So in the Nagoya Protocol, what they have agreed is that if you are taking any genetic resource from any country, and if you are going for industrial production of it, when you are multiplying it, then the benefit or the profit of that has to be shared with those countries from where you actually got this. So it's more like the farming community have a particular seed which can be grown in different climatic conditions. This is being taken and it has been given to different countries. At that point of time, as there is commercialization, more money is getting into. So we request the people to ensure that some money is given to these farming community or the country as well. The reason why we say this is, it is developing countries, especially which fall within the tropics, where biodiversity is huge, different crop varieties are seen, and the industrialized countries are actually using these for their own benefits. So to prevent that, India actually fought a lot to give this equal sharing. So this is the reason why the Aichi biodiversity target, especially the target 16, is crucial, right? Then see page 329. In page 329, you have National Biodiversity Authority. National Biodiversity Authority. This body or this act, the Biological Diversity Act 2002, which came in force in 2003, after this we actually established it. It is an autonomous, statutory and regulatory organization. right? So what is the question? The question can be National Biodiversity Authority being intended to implement provisions of what? So the answer has to be Biological Diversity Act 2002. So please be careful, this can be a question. Then the main objective of NBA, National Biodiversity Authority, are. Now this is mains question. Directly they may ask you, what are the objectives of it? Just go through it, simple language. See, to regulate access to biological resources of the country, conserve and sustainable use of the biological diversity, to respect and protect the knowledge of local communities related to biodiversity. This is what we did in the Nagoya Protocol. To secure sharing of benefits with local people as conservers of biological resources and holders of knowledge and information relating to the use of biological resources. So we talked about the Nagoya. The main intention of National Biodiversity Authority is not only to protect the species that are there, but also you should protect the knowledge of the local communities. So you're not only protecting the organisms, but you're also protecting the people who have the knowledge. Conservation and development of area of importance from the viewpoint of biological diversity by declaring them as biological diversity heritage sites, and protection and rehabilitation of threatened species. So all these are important. Please be careful. Mains, if you write this 80 to 100 words, it's fine, more than enough. Next, mangroves. Every line in this paragraph can be a question. See this. Mangroves are plants that survive high salinity, right? Why? Because these are near the coast. Tidal regimes, high tide, low tide, anything, they can actually survive. Strong wind velocity. They can withstand strong wind velocity. This is the reason why most of the people, they say, in the entire coast you should go for mangrove construction so that the cyclones and their impact can be reduced, because they can withstand the speed. High temperature, muddy anaerobic soil. Can you see from the regular plants, mangroves are so different? Here you will see completely opposite with the regular one. But mangroves, they are in extreme conditions. Directly UPSC can give these 5 points. Mangroves can survive in which of the following climatic conditions? So when you see high salinity, tidal regimes, most of you will say yes. Strong wind velocity, you may have doubt. High salinity, still you will have doubt. High temperature, and when you see muddy anaerobic soil, if they make it muddy aerobic soil, you will feel yes, that may be correct. So please be careful about these words. UPSC just picks these 5 words and put it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ask you 1 only, 2 only, 1, 2, 3. So please be careful at that point of time. The mangrove ecosystem constitute a symbiotic link or bridge between terrestrial and marine ecosystems. So this is another point. Consider the following statements with respect to mangroves. They may give you this. It forms a symbiotic link or bridge between which two ecosystems. So this is important. They are found in intertidal zones, that is low tide and high tide, of sheltered shores, estuaries, creeks, backwaters, lagoons, marshes, mudflats. So where all they are actually present? If you see, mangrove vegetation has been reported in all the coastal states and union territories. This line is important. When they give you any coastal state and they ask you Is mangrove present in this? You should say yes. You may get confused. Is mangrove present in Karnataka? Have I read it? Is mangrove present in Maharashtra? Is it present in Goa? They are saying clearly whether it is coastal states or union territories, mangroves is present. That's why I keep telling you the statements are more important in India Yearbook than the concepts, because they just pick these statements. Mangrove vegetation is present in all the coastal states. So if the question gives any state, any coastal state, mangrove is present, right? So please be careful. West Bengal, again another question. West Bengal has the maximum mangrove cover in the country, followed by Gujarat, and then you have Andaman and Nicobar Islands. UPSC sometimes, to confuse, they may ask you, mangroves are present maximum in which of the following states? They may not give you West Bengal at all. At that point of time, you should remember the second highest also. Andaman and Nicobar, third highest, you should remember even this, right? So these points, all these lines are important. Next, let's take coral reefs. In coral reefs, can you see fourth line, fifth line in the book? The term coral has been used to describe a variety of invertebrate animals of the phylum Cnidaria or Cnidaria, including hard and soft corals. This word can be asked. This itself can be a question. So please know this. Factual, know this. They may ask you because it is present in India Yearbook. However, coral is most often used as the common name for hard corals of order Scleractinia. So no need to remember the order. For me, the phylum is important. The four major coral reefs areas identified for intensive conservation and management in India are, UPSC had just given, this question was given in 2013 or 14, and the question was simple. Coral reefs are present in which of the following places? The first one was Gulf of Mannar, Gulf of Kutch, Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar. So the answer is all the above. So people get confused because they won't be knowing all these four places. This question was directly picked from India Yearbook. And the second important statement, sometimes they may ask you, the emphasis is more on preventive aspects through monitoring and surveillance, as the restoration work is both costly. So coral reefs protection is mainly done by going for preventive measures. That is, you try to ensure that no one is coming and creating any trouble to this, rather than restoration, because you cannot go for reconstruction or you cannot get the coral reefs back. See, if you have deforestation, you can go for afforestation, but that cannot happen with the coral reefs. You just go for preventive measures. So don't get confused if this statement is given in the exam. Next, please open page number 332. Project Elephant. Please see, it was launched in 1991-92 to protect elephants, their habitat and corridors, to address issues of man-animal conflict. So the project has been in 16 states or union territories. Just go through this once. No need to remember. It's not possible to remember all the places. You get confused. National Tiger Conservation Authority, launched in 1973. And this can come when it was launched, mainly because you have seen there is increase in the tiger population. So UPSC may ask you an indirect question and simple question. Then please open page number 334. Can you see hazardous substances management? Right? So you have hazardous substances management division. It comes under ministry for management of chemical emergencies and hazardous substance. The main objective of the division is to promote safe management and use of hazardous substances. There are some international conventions which we are actually following. So these 4 international conventions are Basel Convention on control of transboundary movement of hazardous waste and their disposal, Rotterdam Convention on prior informed consent, Stockholm Convention, and the Minamata Convention on mercury. Hazardous Substances Management Division works as nodal point for which of the following international conventions? When they give you this, they will give you these 4 conventions names. You should say all the 4. Don't get confused. It's a clear question which can come in exam. Don't get into what these conventions are. You will never get a question on these. I'll tell you which conventions, international conventions related to environment and ecology, that is not part of current affairs session, but still I'll give you the list of conventions which are important. I can also explain you by taking some time out, but in this chapter, in this page, only this is enough. No need to see anything else. See page number 336. Why I say don't see anything? The reason is when you get into details, you forget what question actually comes. See this, fly ash utilization, UPSC question last year. Can you see? Third line, fourth line, you have the objectives of the notification are to protect environment, conserve the topsoil, prevent dumping of fly ash from thermal power stations on land, and to promote utilization of ash in what? Manufacture of building materials and construction activity. So they want to reduce fly ash by using it. They want to achieve 100% utilization of fly ash in a phased manner. That was the reason why UPSC asked this. So can you see, fly ash utilization notification was held in 2014, and that was the reason why this question actually came. So that's why we keep telling people neglect India Yearbook, but questions come directly from that, mainly because these are taken from the ministry websites itself. Right? Then you have page number 337, Ramsar Convention. So I'll give you the list of wetlands in India. You're expecting question again and again on this. You know it's regarding wetland convention. So I'll give you the list because it's part of, again, environment and ecology. I should not keep saying it's part of other subject. Whichever I give material, especially related to environment and ecology and all, ensure that you're reading your class notes, whichever you have read. Along with that, just remember the factual portion which can come in prelims, because all these are the traditional subjects which you will be reading for sure. So I don't want to waste your time in taking those which you would have already learned, but I want to spend more time on the new points which you might have not read in your traditional subjects. So then I have page 338, National Mission for a Green India. So in this, can you see the mission aims at? There are 5 points in this. So all these 5 points can be given. What are the objectives of national missions for Green India? That is enhancing quality of forest cover and improving ecosystem services, ecosystem restoration and increase in forest cover. First one is quality, second one is quantity, enhancing tree cover in urban and peri-urban areas, that is increasing the tree cover in the cities, agroforestry and social forestry, restoration of wetlands. Agroforestry and social forestry, please write it in your mains. They may ask you, I'll give you proper material during mains for that. But as of now, the aim of National Mission for Green India is, you just need to remember these 5 points. So guys, we are done with environment chapter. Let's take the next chapter, finance. As this is important, I know some questions will be there on this. So I'll just give you 2 to 3 minutes. We will be doing at least till 18 chapters today. So I can do it quickly. The finance is easy. So just take 2 to 3 minutes break. Ask me questions. We'll come back. Yes, guys. So let's take next chapter, that is finance. In finance chapter, as you're aware, again related to economy and economic survey, most of the facts which are here is of no use because the numbers which are given here will be changed with the economic survey. So I'll just tell you some factual information which will be important for you. So let's see those carefully. Please open page number 347. Can you see agriculture? Agriculture. So in agriculture, you just need to see some of the major schemes which we have already seen. कृषि विकास योजना, प्रधान मंत्री ग्राम सिंचाई योजना to provide per drop more crop. Then pradhan mantri krishi sinchai yojana, right? So the schemes which are related, I just wanted you to see this once. For which money is flowing as of now. There won't be any question. It will be important for you only from the mains point of view when you're writing the exam, right? Apart from this, please see page 348, where you have the concept of Skill India, right? Skill India. So for this, see the notes provided to you. Again, I will be taking Skill India in detail. Oh, I'm sorry, this was in the next chapter. So just go back to the book. I'm extremely sorry. Skill India, we have a separate chapter on that, where there is a ministry which is working on skill development. There we will be going in detail, so I avoid it here because it will be repetition. And there questions are coming from the book, so just read it once, this entire paragraph, read it once, but actual questions about Skill India comes from the other chapter where we will be dealing about the skill development, right? Please open page 351, where you have foreign exchange reserves. Can you see? India's foreign exchange reserves comprise foreign currency assets, gold, SDRs, and reserve tranche position in the IMF. What is the meaning of it? So you have foreign currency assets like euro, dollars and all. Gold you can keep, SDRs you can keep. These three you will see in economy. What is RTP? Reserve tranche position in the IMF. So this is one confusion. So in IMF, the money that IMF gives to the member countries, that is loans which give, is actually from the deposits made made by the countries. India also has made deposits in IMF. We have moved from 1991, where we had to make LPG, that is structural adjustment programs in India, on the demand of IMF. Today, we are in a position to keep our money in IMF. So what happens in IMF? India's reserves can be kept, and whenever we want we can take it back. So that is actually known as reserve tranche position. So based on this, India's as of now it is 1% out of, like, 100. It's only 1% of the money that India has kept in IMF. Majority of it is with United States, which has 16% of the funds kept. And in IMF, if you have to take any decision, then it has to be by 85% of the people. So if US says no, then nothing can be done. So veto power is with United States. India is saying that in IMF, most of it is actually taken by the developed countries only. For developing countries, India wants to increase this from 1% to 4%. So India is asking, please, if you reduce your money in IMF, then we can increase our money. But the developed countries are not willing. This is one reason why they keep saying that the new development bank which has come up, that is the BRICS bank, right? New development bank, they don't want to have any such disparity in the voting. So next, you have in page 355 a small note about Eurozone in external markets. Eurozone, Europe European Union question can come. So people ask a question, what is the difference between European Union and Eurozone? European Union is a group of countries which are part of that union. Eurozone are the group of countries which adopt euro as their currency. So here we are talking about just a union in European Union where some countries, 28, 29 countries have come together and they have formed a group. But not all the countries in European Union have accepted euro. For example, Britain has pounds. So Britain is part of European Union, but it is not part of Eurozone. That is the difference. Eurozone is currency. So in the notes, I have given you the countries. Just go through it. Don't remember all. Just see the exception, which are part of European Union and which are part of Eurozone. Next, please see page 363. So in page 363, I want you to see benefits to farmers. When you actually go for this commodity exchanges, again economy, so if I need to explain forward markets commission, commodity exchanges, then I need to go to basics of economy. you need basics of economy, any information, you can call us. We'll explain to those students who have not read economy yet. Don't want to waste time of all the students who have already read economy. So in page 363, you have benefits to farmers, that is, please mark it as mains. In paper 3, you can get a direct question on what is the benefit of commodity exchanges and forward market, that is future markets to farmers. This can be a question, so please be careful. Then see page number 367. You have smart cities. Again, smart cities comes in Urban Development Ministry, but I have given you what are these smart city projects, what is the aim of this in the notes, and which cities are actually taken for the smart city project. 20 smart cities are selected. Yep. Can you see this? The focus is on sustainable and inclusive development, and the idea is to look at compact areas, create a replicable model which will act like a lighthouse to the other aspiring cities. The core infrastructure elements in a smart city include: you should provide adequate water supply, electricity supply, sanitation, urban transport, affordable housing, especially for the poor, robust IT connectivity, digital India, good governance, that is one-stop destination to pay all your bills, sustainable environment, trees all should be increased, safety and security of citizens, particularly women, children and elderly, health and education has to be provided. So this is what is the idea. So infrastructure elements can be asked, that's why I have given you. You see the cities which have been chosen for this smart city project. So very rarely you may get the question on which of the following cities, but still We don't know, sometimes the factual information which comes will create trouble. So just ensure that you see this once. Then see page 377. Let's go back to the chapter. See page 377. Just see finance. Can you see gold monetization scheme and sovereign gold scheme? The other information in between is not required for you. Right? So in the gold monetization scheme and sovereign gold bond scheme, can you see the last 4 lines? That is, the gold monetization scheme aims at mobilizing the gold lying idle within the country, whereas the objective of sovereign gold bond scheme is to reduce the demand for physical gold. So what is it? One is talking about the gold monetization scheme. What is the meaning of gold monetization? The use is to mobilize the gold lying idle. If you have gold, you can go and give it to the government or to the banks. They will give equivalent money so that the demand for gold reduces. So import of gold also reduces. The second thing, sovereign gold bond scheme. If you want to invest in India, most of the investments in gold actually happens even in the raw gold also. So rather than purchasing the raw gold, you can purchase the bonds given by the government. I just wanted the two statements to be seen once. Then please open page number 384. You have BRICS. So again, there is a high possibility that you get question on BRICS. The others are not that important. There are a lot of changes in international relations. G20 you have already seen. Let's take BRICS. So the acronym BRIC earlier it was only BRIC, was given by Goldman Sachs in 2001 in their paper titled "The World Needs Better Economic BRICS." So please be sure who gave this. Usually UPSC is asking who gave these books or reports, who released these reports and all. So please be careful about it. So this is one point that you need to see. The first BRICS summit was hosted by Russia in 2009 and South Africa was invited to join during the third summit in 2011. These are the facts usually come up. It has already been asked by UPSC. So in the third, can you see new development bank with the initial capital of 100 billion USD and the contingent reserve arrangement with an initial size of 100 billion USD is being kept. KV Kamath, India's nominee, is actually elected as the first president and it will be established in China. The bank will come up in China. There is another bank of China which is solely developed by China, that is Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. So you can see New Development Bank, it is for developmental activities where things like Millennium Development Goal, now Sustainable Development Goals, they may give money to reduce poverty and other objectives. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank of China is solely focused on developing infrastructure, and it is said that the Silk Route of China, they want to invest from this. So this is crucial. Then please open page number 400. You have new social security schemes. Now this is important from exam point of view. I told you the details, numbers is not required. So can you see the new social security schemes? The first one is Atal Pension Scheme, right? There can be a question on these schemes both in prelims and mains. See the eligibility. All citizens of the country in the eligible category may join the scheme. So that is in between 18 years and maximum age of 40 years. Minimum period of contribution by any subscriber is 20 years or more. It has started from June 1st. Date is not required. Minimum pension will range from 1000 to 5000. The central government would also co-contribute 50% of the total contribution of ₹1000 per annum, right, for a period of 5 years. Don't read any other thing that is not required. Let's move to Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. It is a 1-year life insurance scheme, renewable from year to year. Every year you need to pay this. It gives coverage to death due to any reason and is available in the age group of 18 to 50 years. In this, The life cover is 2 lakh and the premium is 330. Not required to go in detail. It is offered or administered through LIC. That is enough. These are all factual. You will not get question, just that these schemes are launched recently and the Prime Minister keeps talking about these schemes. So usually UPSC may ask you. Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana is another cover where you have to pay just ₹12 per year and the age group is 18 to 70 years. Again, you will get 2 lakh for accidental death and permanent disability and ₹1 lakh for permanent partial disability for a 1 year period. So some information is enough. Next, let's take Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Already a question on financial inclusion has come. So we need to talk about the 6 pillars of PMJDY. The first 3 pillars, that is in phase 1, they want to do 3 things. Universal access to banking facilities for every house. At least household, 1 bank account should be there. They want to go for financially literary program through ad campaigns and all. And then they want to provide basic banking facilities with overdraft facility of 5,000 after 6 months. And RuPay debit card with inbuilt accidents insurance cover of 1 lakh and Kisan card is to be implemented. This other benefits, you have 6 in total. The special benefits are given. You can read again, it's factual. No need to look into much. Right? So see this once. Another important scheme of the government